A very good morning to all of you. Yeah. And so, yes, the last class I said I'll run through the active and passive so that you recall whatever we've done. And then we move on to reported speech. Now, before going on to the class, there was one question about how do we change I went to the market into a passive voice. When you don't have a direct object, where you cannot use the by or the being or the being, you can't change it into passive. Okay, so that's to let you know, because I checked with several grammar books, and the way some of them have described my going to the going to the market was done by me, or any other form sounds nonsensical. That's not the way English is used. So we leave that question and we move on with our class today. Let me share my PPT first so that you understand the way active passive works. Okay, and here we are. Let me put it in. Yeah. Okay. So active passive voice. Why do we use active voice? When do we use active voice? So with every grammatical item, it is good for you to know the purpose of why we use such things. Okay. Clarity and directness. If you want to have a clarity in whatever you communicate, whether you write intransitive verb, yes, this is for Komal Preet. You don't have to get too worried about the nomenclatures or the technical terms of the grammar itself. To put it in very simple terms, where you don't have a direct object, you can't change it into passive. And here we go. Except for orders and stuff, you can say, let this be done. Okay, do this, let this be done. So we use let to. I have skipped so many topics. No way. We just spoke about phrases, and that I will do. Saurav, you don't have to post this 100 times. What kind of sentences? After the tornado hit, my house was completely destroyed. So you have an subordinate clause and a main clause. Therefore, it is a complex one. Now, coming back to active and passive. I will run through the entire active and passive so that you're clear about it, because we have to do reported speech also today. I will go very slow about it. In case, I need some more time, I'll club it with the other chapter on the other. Thoda Hindi maybe, because I don't know even Thoda Hindi, right? So don't keep asking the same questions again and again. I'm not going to answer this anymore. Now, coming back to this, why do we use active voice? Where would we use active voice? How can it help us? These are questions of why do we at all learn up active and passive, right? So, in an active voice sentence, you get clarity and directness. It makes sentences more straightforward. Okay? It is easier to understand. The subject of the sentence performs the action, which creates a clear and direct flow of information. Active voice minimizes ambiguity. What is ambiguity? Unclearness, and ensures that the intended meaning is conveyed efficiently. Wherever you have to be careful about your communication, wherever you want to let the other person understand in one go, there we use active voice. What is the difficulty in passive voice? It is a bit long winding. Therefore, that many mistakes might creep in when you use a passive. Unless it is a report where you definitely need to use a passive voice, active voice is recommended all the time, especially when you write your answers. It has to be very direct. So clarity and directness is given by active. Emphasizing the subject. Active voice highlights the subject and their agency, making the sentence more engaging and dynamic. It brings the doer of the action into focus and gives them prominence. So it emphasizes the subject, not the event. And when you, like, for example, the book was written by Jane. Okay, that's passive. But Jane wrote the book, so Jane becomes important. Okay. Now, emphasizing the subject is what we saw now. Conciseness. If you want to communicate very briefly, in short, because today nobody has the time to sit and listen to anyone, even if it is an important communication. So brevity is very important. What is brevity? Conciseness. Conciseness is being brief. Active voice tends to be more concise than passive voice because it requires fewer words to express the same idea. Just a minute. Yeah. The active voice version is more concise and eliminates the need for the passive construction, resulting in a more direct and efficient sentence. So you can understand phrases, verbs, and types of verbs, direct object, indirect object, complements. Okay, this is Saurav. Yes, Saurav, I have not omitted them. I thought talking about it in detail will only confuse you. Therefore, I just touched upon the main points. You want me to do that in detail because they are not the ones which are going to be tested in your exam. In your exam, you will be tested in simple complex compound, active and passive, and reported speech. Only these. This is for Saurav. Will you understand and stop posting that, Saurav? Okay. So if you want to say something concisely, briefly, then active voice is important. Accountability and responsibility. So active voice helps to assign responsibility and accountability for actions. It clearly identifies who is performing the action, which can be important in context. Saurav, let me tell you again, the subtopics that I haven't mentioned or I have not taken into my presentation is simply the reason that grammar is done more correctly by feeling the context rather than going by the rules, because every rule has an exception. And that's the reason why I did not want to touch on those subtopics, because you are not going to be tested in those. What you will be tested is with per active and passive and reported speech. Sneha, we haven't touched upon the reported speech still. Okay, so don't worry. Yes, accountability and responsibility. Mistakes were made. We made mistakes. You see how you make the subject responsible for whatever has happened. Now, here on, I think we did this yesterday. And I'm just running through this so that you recall whatever we've done. Okay, this is just the beginning of active and passive, what the subject does and what is the event. These are the important things. And this is for Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, whatever I deal with in the class, and whenever I go through the question papers, I will highlight what's important. What has been often repeated in your past question papers is something that I will time and again discuss with you. So passive voice has more words. It can be vague sometimes because you don't get to know the subject at one shot. Can lead to a tangle of prepositional phrases. Newspapers carry passive news for reporting. Language used for recipes, language used for instructions. Now, this is newspaper headlines. The news or the action is more important, so it's in passive voice. Purpose of passive voice. The passive voice allows you to shift the focus from the subject performing the action to the object receiving the action. Do not mind the definitions that I'm giving here because you will not be tested in the definitions. You are going to be tested only with the exercise, whether you're able to change from active to passive or passive to active. What helps you change, appropriately or perfectly is the feel for the grammar, feel for the context. Okay, that's what is more important. Now, politeness or diplomacy. If you want to be very polite, very diplomatic, then we use passive voice. If you are a close follower of some of the good speakers, the present foreign affairs minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, you watch him. He is the best diplomat ever. We have had never such diplomat before. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Krishna. I'm revising the whole thing again. So listen to how the way Dr. S. Jaishankar speaks. You have it in short, you have it in reels, you have it on YouTube. Listen to that, and you will see what kind of language he uses. He's a diplomat, right? And you will see most of it is in the passive, because the doing is not important. What happened is more important, and that's what he will discuss. Okay. Object emphasis. The artist painted a beautiful mural. A beautiful mural was painted by the artist. So, mural becomes more important than who did it. Okay. The focus is on the subject. Now, formal or scientific writing. So, this you must know. When you write a formal writing or a scientific writing, especially when you read scientific journals, you will see that they are all in passives, because who did it is not important, because it's always a team. Yes, Rishita, you're right. Yeah. Watch his interviews, watch his, YouTube, the reels clipping, the short clipping, and he is very good. I like the language. And let me also tell you, I'm not a politician. I don't campaign for any party. I just look for good sample of language clippings. I make a disclaimer here. Sushmita, active voice is always better, because when you choose to write in passive, there are chances of making more mistakes. Mural is a painting, a piece of art. Yeah, you can write, Sonal. Only thing, I don't share it to anybody in particular, or especially even to the board of studies, because I have used some images, some definitions from different sources, which will help you understand well. Okay, and it is something that I cannot share with you because there will be copyright issues. Yes, Suraj, you are right. I like Sadhguru's speech also. Yes. Now moving on. Passive voice. It's important to note that while the passive voice has its uses, it is generally recommended to use active voice for most types of writing, as it tends to be more direct, concise, and engaging. The choice between active and passive voice depends on the context, the emphasis, and desired effect you want to achieve in your writing. You want the listener to understand who did something, then it is active. Or if you want your listener to understand what happened, then the passive becomes important. I think I made it very clear. Now, these are some things that we have already done yesterday. And these are examples, and I'm not going to repeat. We will look at this because this is where we got stuck. Here in this exercise, yeah, Kushi, I agree. Yes, Karthik, you're right. This is the exercise where we got stuck yesterday. These sentences are of different tenses and has a mix of singular and plural also. Now, you must have written it yesterday, but since some of you said the video was lagging or the screen was blurred, I'm showing this to you again, because I have to finish reported speech, which has much more or many more things that we need to be alert about while changing from direct to report. So now just go through this, and I'm showing you the answers now. I removed the red mark because all of you said that red thing was not making it visible. So the mouse is killed by the cat. The mouse is being killed by the cat. The mouse was killed by the cat. Okay? The mouse has been killed by the cat. So that's present perfect. The mouse had been, that is past perfect. So more than, identifying sentences with their technical terms or nomenclature, it is good for you to feel the context. Then you will not make a mistake with the tenses. The mouse will be killed by the cat. The mouse was killed by the cat. Okay, it's cats plural. The mice were killed by the cat. Vanish. Vanish. What is this? Active to passive sample sentences in different tenses. Okay, the mice were killed by the cat. So you see the was becomes were because the mice is in plural. Okay, the mouse will be killed by the cat. Now let's move on. I have a few more sentences that will be important for you because these are exclusive sentences. You have 2, 4, 6, 8 sentences, and I'll give you 8 minutes. Do this in your notebook because these are sentences of a type that are quite tricky. Copy these sentences and write their answers and check their answers when I show you the answer. That is a kind of learning that you can do quick. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Change from active to passive. So in case you have doubts, you may get this clear. Janavi, that's not right, Janavi. You did not attend on the market, right? The whole meaning changes. That's not right. I said write in your notebooks and have it for future reference because before you go for the exam, if you look at these type of sentences, you will know how to answer in the question paper because the question paper will have tricky sentences. Which speech we need to see? Okay, Krishna, I said listen to good speeches, especially the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar's language. You will see most of us isn't passive because he represents India and all of us. So he will not make active sentences because he cannot pin responsibility on anyone. Okay, and his language is good. Just listen to that. Yes, I will show you the right answers and I will want you to correct it in your notebook so that you know what kind of mistakes you make and how you can rectify them. I will show you the answers also. Here are the answers. For the first sentence, by him is understood, even if you don't write it. So here again, I give you 2 minutes now to check your answers. Abhimanyu, Ada, Samaj bhi, Samaj hi aa raha. I don't know if you're saying you understood it or you didn't understand it. Jia. So some of you have been asking me to speak in Hindi, which I don't know. And this lecture in English, because it's a foundation English, you can't speak it in another language. How will you understand English then? Yeah. So I hope you have checked your answers. Please make the corrections in your notebook so that you remember how to change. Okay, I move on. Super. He said that he can understand half. What is that? I don't have a sentence like that. Okay, let me move on. Okay, that's about active and passive. I'll give you, now the time is 11:21. I'm going to give you 2 minutes time to ask me questions in active and passive. If you don't have, then we move. Okay, we move to reported speech. Om Gupta, don't choose sentences that will give you a nonsensical sentence, that will give you a sentence with no meaning when you change it into passive. Okay? Once the entire exercise has been done and now you're asking me which sentences to convert. What was said to the followers by the leader? You have to give the active sentence so that I let you know. Gaurav, very sorry. English can be taught or should be taught only in English, not in Hindi. I'm not going to answer this kind of questions anymore. You want to copy the answer? I think you must have copied. Jones has a lot of books. Your sentence is wrong, Preeti. Last answer, you want that again? Look, Komal, English, in English, for every exercise, there are rules. But you will also see exceptions to flout the rules. So I generally advise students to go by the feel of the language and the context itself. That will help you write perfectly. No. Once we have reported speech too. Yes. Okay. Let me go on to reported speech because in active and passive voice, please remember it's only the tense that you need to take care of, and also the usage of by, being, or being, depending on the context of the sentence, whether it was done in the past or whether it was done in the future. Krishna, I've already answered. I went to the market. I'm not going to do it again. I've answered it thrice. Okay. Question slide I will show after I finish the reported speech. Just give me a minute. Let me go to reported speech. Yeah. Just give me a minute and I will. We learn reported speech because especially in CA, you will see that you are expected to write reports. Jia, Ram kicked the ball was kicked by Ria. It's a very, I'm sorry, the ball was kicked by Ram. Okay. So that's an easy question. This brand is since 1986. Why would you want such a sentence where it doesn't have a direct object? Sadhana, let me tell you, this is for all of you here. You have to change from active to passive depending on the tense that is there. If the active sentence is in simple past, your passive sentence must also be in simple past. That will fit into the usage of by, being, or being. Sneha, this is a question like I went to the market. Don't worry about that question. Active and passive is about the voice, the texture of the sentence itself. Reported speech is the way you report about an event that has happened before. So it's always in past tense. We use let in command sentences, in order sentences. Ujjal, I've answered you. Can we write what the followers told? Oh my God. Ruhani, please stop such questions. Krishna, you get stuck with went to the market, and I'm not going to answer you. I've answered it 7 times. Okay. Type of questions, I have been repeatedly telling you, Nandini. Type of questions, you will be tested in identifying simple complex compound, changing from active to passive or passive to active, and reported speech. You will not be tested in the definitions. Fluency in the language happens when you speak with every opportunity. You want to change, please give me the bottle. Let the bottle be given. Okay. I think I've answered all your questions. Okay. Please practice exercises that are there in your study material. The answers are there. Sneha, yes, I read everybody's answer. And I ignore questions that are not really warranted here. Do the exercises in the study material, because you also have the answers there. Do it as an exercise and then check your answer with the answers from the study material. That will help you understand. The ball was hit by Varun is passive. Varun hit the ball is active. I have answered. Oh my God, Deepika. Again, how to change active to passive? Yeah. In your exam, you will have passive to active or active to passive. You will not have multiple choice questions. Yeah, Muthukumaran, go inside. May you go inside. May the usage of modals make it passive. A good cook could cook good food. I think you're all trying from your, maybe you're asking Google, Bar or ChatGPT for the tricky questions. I stop answering these questions right now. And now I'm going on with the reported speech. Just give me a minute and I will share that PPT. Because this needs more of your attention. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Here we are. Yes. Okay. Active passive is very, very easy compared to the reported speech. Okay. I'll tell you why. In an active and passive exercise, the tense is important and the usage of by is important. Whereas in reported speech, I'm not going to tell you now. I want you to look for yourself, because seeing is what will help you believe. Okay, you look for yourself how many things we need to change. I have definitions, I have the rules, I have plenty of sample exercises, the right answers. I want you to watch very, very carefully. Apurva, yes, Apurva. Let the door be closed. Close the door without the let. Okay, that's how you'll change it. Now, no more questions on active and passive. I have done it in detail. Now we move on to reported speech. Reported speech, the usage of direct speech. When you want to retell a conversation that took place in the past, then we use reported speech, direct. You can use reported speech to summarize or report what was said. For example, I will meet you at 5 p.m., said John. Reported speech. John said he would meet me at 5 p.m. Now, reporting statements. So we use when we narrate conversations, we use when we report statements. When you want to convey information or relay a statement made by someone else, reported speech can be used. For instance, direct speech. I love chocolate, said Emily. Emily said she loved chocolate. Okay. It's very simple. These sentences lets you know or tells you why we have the reported speech and what is the difference between the direct speech. When you want to convey a question that was asked by someone else, reported speech can be used. For example, where are you going? Asked Sarah. Sarah asked where I was going. Okay. Indirect commands or requests. Reported speech can be used to convey commands, requests, or instructions given by someone else. For instance, please close the door. Tom asked me to close the door. Sharing opinions or beliefs. When you want to express someone else's opinion or belief, reported speech can be used. For example, I think it's a good idea, said Liza. That is necessary and that will depend on the context. Okay. Reported speech and indirect speech are the same. Yes, Neha. Okay, I think it's a good idea, said Liza. Liza thought it was a good idea. Reporting intentions or plans. Reported speech can be used to report someone's intention or plan. For instance, we are going on vacation next week, said Mark. Mark said they were going on vacation the following week. So I'm going to tell you one by one how to use or what are the kinds of differences you will have while changing from direct to indirect. I want you to watch very carefully because you have to understand primarily that in the reported speech exercises, you must count the number of changes that you need to make. That will help you understand how to change it and you can change it correctly. Now let's go one by one. I will exit the slideshow view because the sentences are not seen when I zoom it. Now here, he said, I am playing. These are different sentences to help you understand how we can get into reported speech. These slides are not in your study material, but you have those rules and exercises, okay? The slide here is to help you understand at one go. Okay, and you see he said that he was playing. So the he is in a different color to let you know what has been changed. Okay, she said, I am painting. She said that she was painting. Now you don't ask me questions. First, follow whatever I'm saying, and then I'll give you time to ask questions. Then, he said, I did this exercise last night. He said that he had done that exercise the previous night. Okay, I am just highlighting things that you need to change, and you will see how the change happens. Okay, with the reported speech sentences. Now don't ask me questions because these are only examples and I'm just showing you the different kinds of examples so that you understand. When we do the exercise and when you get your doubts, then I will clear it up. Now just watch. Okay, the inspector said, I am glad to be with you today. The inspector said that he was glad to be with me that day. Nandini, you don't have your books? Then follow this. Do exercises from the net until you get your book. Okay. Now, or see if you can get a friend who has a study material. Okay. What changes did you notice? So far, we've done 4 or 5 sentences. What changes did you notice? Now, look at this. The first is the omission of commas, the inverted commas, the speech marks. Okay. That we changed that. Then the use of that is important. So these two are the first changes. Count the number of changes we have as roots and we'll see how you can go about it. So exact words of the speaker is in the direct speech. The teacher said to Rajesh, you have a bright future. What the speaker has said without using the exact words. The teacher told Rajesh that he had a bright future. Okay. Now, change of tense. The first change that we saw was the inverted commas, the usage of that. Now, this is the third one, change of tense. Let's look at this. My friends say he is very handsome. My friends say that he is very handsome. So, in simple sentences, simple present tense sentences, you will see that this does not change to was. Because he is handsome, will remain handsome, right? At least for some time till it gets old. So we don't use the was here. When we say sun rises in the east, for universal law, universal truth, we don't change it into past tense. This is something that you need to understand. We'll do more examples and you will understand. Okay. My granny will say, you need to eat well. My granny will say that you need to eat well. Will is again used because it's the future. Okay. Now, simple present becomes simple past. The girl said the flower is pretty. The girl said that the flower was pretty. Now, the present continuous. The old man said the rain is falling very heavily. The old man said that the rain was falling very heavily. Now, look at these sentences. I am not going to read it out for you. Excuse me. I want you to read it for yourself so that you read and understand. Okay? And yes, this is a big slide and I will move it once you finish. I've given you samples of present perfect, simple past, past perfect, and modal changes. Quick. I want you to read. You just need to change that. Excuse me. Done? Okay, I'll move this up. Now you can look at the way the modals have been changed. What are the modals? Can, shall, kind of things. So he said she can dance. He said that she could dance. Yeah, so now we move on. Now look at this. Oh, give me. I just ran through. Yeah, here we are. Yes. Now you see, we call this the sun formula. So first, which I'm going to repeat this because you need to remember how many things you need to change. First, we removed the inverted commas and we saw the usage of that too. Now we saw the modals, the simple present changing to simple past, okay, and the present perfect and the past perfect that we saw. Now we are going to see the sun formula. You will see that the first person, second person, third person also change. Second person doesn't change. Now, what is first person, second person, third person? First person is a subject where I is used. Second person is always the your. Third person is he, it, they, or she, it, they, whatever. Okay. Will didn't change to would because it's in the future tense. Okay. Now, look at these examples. If subject of the quoted words is in first person, then it will change according to the subject of the reported verb. Now, I don't want to give you a break because the flow will go. Okay. So I will leave you 5 minutes earlier. That's much better. Now, he said to me, I like coffee. He told me that he liked coffee. Okay. So I becomes he. So now we are seeing the change of first person, second person, third person. Now to repeat for you, how many things we need to change? Okay. 1. The usage of that has to be used. 2. Removal of inverted commas. 3. Present perfect, past perfect, present tense, past tense. Okay, Devansh. Yes, I will. Okay. Then now the personal pronouns, how they change. So we've seen the four things now. Now look at this. For the second person, he said to me, you look happy. He told that I looked happy. Okay. He said to me, she has already left. He told that she had already left. Last night, yes, Angel. You must say previous night. Wait, don't be in a hurry. Now learn, be on me on the same page, whatever I'm dealing with. We will cover every rule. Okay. So this is about personal pronouns. Now we move on to the next change that can happen. Subject is equal to first person. Now look at this. You see the arrows there. I'm not going to read it out for you. I shall be taking a test. So she said that she would be, because that is in the future. That's the reason why I said feel the grammar more than the rule. You will be able to change it correctly. Feel the grammar. So she said, I shall be taking a test. You understand I shall be means that she would be. That's in the future. Okay. So it has to be would be. Feel the grammar. You can cross check with the rules to see if they are right. Are you going to the Helsinki conference? Okay. She asked me if I was going to the Helsinki conference because you haven't given the, the speakers. Ooh, Rishi, I don't understand what you're asking. You have to ask in English. Now, subject change of first person. I am not going to read it out for you. I want you to read it. Look at the arrows, the way the eye has changed or has not changed, depending on the context, and feel the complete meaning of the sentence given. You will be able to understand how to change. Now, I'm not going to read it. You will read it for yourself, and I will give you 2 minutes on that. Quick. If you have finished, post done, and I move on. Feel the meaning of the sentence. That's more important. And you will be able to write it correctly, to change it correctly. Done? Okay, I move on. Now look at this. Object or second person. How does the second person change? Okay. Yeah, Jeremy, it makes no sense and therefore it's not being said. Now look at this. This second, I'm not going to read it out for you. Look at the you and the your. See how they are changed. Feel the sentence and try to understand the context in which it is said. And then the way you change will be right. Okay? Quick. I'll give you 2 minutes to read. And once you finish, post done. As you read, I want you to understand, look at the arrows there to suggest to you how or what is changed. Yeah. Yes, Preeti, and that's what I'm trying to do so that everybody understands every bit. If you're finished, post done, and I move on. So when you write sample sentences, when you are practicing from your study material, see that you put the arrows like this so that don't do it in the exam. You do it while you're practicing so that you understand whether you've changed it the right way, whether you made all the changes that requires to write a reported speech sentence. Okay, now look at this. This is third person. Third person has no change. Okay, you can read it for yourself how the he and the she are changed or not changed when it is in the third person. Quick. Post done if you have finished. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, now we move on. Now, change of adverbs. So now let me repeat. What are the changes that have to go with the reported speech? One is the inverted commas. Then the usage of that, you must see that it is there. Then you have the tenses: simple present, simple past, present perfect, present future. I'm sorry, past perfect and future. Then you had the sun formula: I, you, we. I, you, he, she, or it. So that's the. Then we saw modal verbs. Now we are going to see change of adverbs. How do adverbs change? Now look, these are rules with nomenclatures, with the technical items. That is to explain to you. Please remember, you will have different or a variety of sentences to answer, but you will not be tested in the technical terminology of these. Okay. So now we move on to change of adverbs. Now look at this. This you already know. I'm sure all of you have done this in school. Okay. But this has to be learned and relearned again so that you do it the best way. Right? I give you a minute to read through this. Yeah, we did pronouns only. Yes, thank you for that. Read through this. This must be changed. This has to become that. Today must become that day. These will have to become those. Okay, tomorrow becomes the following day. Yesterday becomes the previous day. Tonight becomes that night. Okay, now I move on. Now look at this. These are examples of change in adverbs. He said, I shall discuss this matter next week. Okay, look, he said that he would discuss that matter the following week. So this becomes that. Next week becomes the following week. I becomes he. Okay. So look at the number of changes. Okay. 1. The inverted commas 1, 2. Okay. 2. Then this becomes that 3. Next week comes. So you have 4 changes. The moment you look at the question sentence, changing it to reported speech, count the number of things that you need to change. And after you change, check that whether you made all the changes correctly. Then see if you can change the changed sentence to direct speech. If you are getting it the right way with the right tense, then your answer is right. That is a very, very simple way of cross-checking whether you have done it rightly. Okay, now let me move on. He said, no, that's over. She said, we shifted to this house 2 weeks ago. She said that they had shifted to that house 2 weeks before. Shall here is in the future, that I shall be doing. Okay, that's the reason why I'm repeatedly telling you, feel the sentence, feel the grammar, and then your answer will be right. Okay, now some more sentences. Now look at these question sentences. These are tricky sentences. You have to see. Yeah, in place of said, we use told. Okay, now I'm not going to the next, the interrogative sentences. Shall becomes would if it's a future meaning. Salman, I'm going very slow. I'm explaining it in the best way possible. How much marks the current chapter containing? You will have between 5 and 7 marks depending on the paper setter's prerogative. Had, for an action that has already happened, we use had. Earlier we used no. You're only reading the answer but not explain. Oh my God. Salman, the slide explains and I read it out for you. You understand? This is not an idle class. I read it out or I explain it. The PPT tells you the explanation and the rule. What does tonight becomes? Tonight becomes that night. I'm giving you the rule. I'm giving you the sample sentences. I'm also explaining to you simultaneously what more. Okay. And this is on a topic that has already been dealt with in your school days, say maybe from your 4th standard. And I don't know still why haven't you learned them up. Okay. Before going on to the interrogative sentences, I'm going to give you 2 minutes time. Now the time is 11:51. I'll give you 2 minutes time. I want you to post in the chat box the reporting verbs that you know. As many reporting verbs as you know. For example, what is the reporting verb? For example, reported, said, told, remarked, quizzed. Okay? Post in the chat box as many reporting verbs as you know. Quick, and I give you 1 full minute on that. Come on fast. Super. Explained. Yeah. Requested. Yeah. Write as many as you can for 1 full minute. Quick. Yes, Ruhani. Gunjan, you're not right. Reporting verb are words like reported, said, told, exclaimed, remarked, requested, ordered. Wait, I'm looking at your answers because I want to know whether you're able to understand how to change to reported speech, and what kind of words you can, what kind of reporting verbs you can use when you're changing. Quick. Yeah, remarked, wondered. Yeah. Come on fast. I'm waiting for you. Yeah. Reporting verb must always be a past tense verb. Reported, commanded. They are never in present tense. Asked, advised. Uday, you're not right. Mogana Priya, alas, is not a reporting verb. Karthik, it has to be in the past tense. Commanded, advised. Yes, please is used for requested. Shanti, your answers are not right. They are not reporting verbs, although they are in past tense. Reporting verbs are verbs that you use when you report. Demanded, inquired. Yes, Pankaj, you're right. Shanti, enriched is not right. Expressed is right. Ujjal, please check your answers. They are not correct. They are not reporting verbs. I told you examples like expressed, inquired, proposed, commanded, requested. These are reporting verbs. Shanti, looked is not a reporting verb. You have to check your answers because all of them are not right. Suggested, no present tense. The moment you read the word reported, it has to be in the past tense. No present tense verbs. That's for Saurabh. Yes, Hardik, you're right. Bhumika begged is listen. No, I don't think we would use listened enough. Ordered, commanded. urged. Yeah. Prachi, endured is not a reporting verb, Prachi. Nausheen, you know thoroughly well that I also share the question paper. Why would you now jump and ask me that question? And I have also been repeatedly saying your questions will be only identifying simple complex compound, changing active to passive or passive to active, and reported speech. Once, this is for 2 hours. Suggested, Saurabh, past tense. Prachi, lived is not a reporting verb. Tanvi, acknowledged, not acknowledges. Commented is a good one. Tanisha, learned is not okay. Kicked is not okay. That's for Shanti. Offered is okay. Closed is not okay, Tushar. That's not a reporting verb. Pulled is not right. Shanti, you please have to check find out, make a list of reporting verbs in your notebook so that you understand it better. Or if you're still doubtful, pick up any grammar book and you will find reporting verbs there. Questioned, yes, you're right. Saurabh, suggested, recommended, asked, told. Tushar, open, sent, they're not right. Clarified, Tanvi. Blessed, I don't know. Proclaimed, yes, Boomkesh. That's a good one. Pleaded, highlighted, yeah. Question. Promised, prayed. Okay, fine. Now, interrogative sentence. You have to be very, very careful about this. Now, let me tell you the rule first, and then I will show you samples as to how to change. The rule. In every question sentence, after the WH word, you must have the verb. For example, I want all of you to listen to very carefully. Listen to this very carefully. Yeah. So, what is your name? What is a WH word? What, when, where, why, which, who, whose. All these are called WH words, or in other words, they are called question words. Okay. Now, immediately after the question word, you must have a verb. For example, what is your name? What are you doing? Where are you going? Okay. If after the WH word, you don't have a verb, then it is not an English sentence at all. That is one thing. Second thing, when you're changing to reported speech, in the changed sentence, if you have WH word and the verb in next, then that's not a reported speech sentence. Now stop posting and listen to me very carefully, because this is something that Indians make mistake in. I mean, in the question sentences. When you look at the Indian languages, you will see that the verb is not so important to come immediately after the WH word. For example, in Hindi, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? Kya comes in the end and hai is next. In English, we have what is your name? What comes first, next comes the verb, then you have the pronoun your, and then the name. Same way, if you look at other Indian languages, you will see that the verb doesn't matter so much to be next to the WH word. Verbs are important to make a sentence, but yeah, you will have examples. I'm just letting you know beforehand so that when I show you the rules, you are able to understand. Now, we move on to interrogative sentences. Yes. A question is changed into a statement. If you have the WH word and the verb together, it is not a statement sentence. It's a question sentence. A question sentence will have WH word and the verb together. They go. Now look at this. She said, are you writing a poem? She asked me whether I was writing a poem. Okay, now if or whether should be used while you change question sentences. Okay. Yeah, yes, wished is a reporting verb, not is wished. Okay, this is for Pankaj. What do you want from me? Okay, if you don't have the do, then your sentence is not a question sentence. Now, she said, okay, I said to him, do you know when she will go home? I asked him if he knew when she would go home. So, if can be used when there is a choice. Okay, or whether is just a kind of statement. Like, for example, she asked me whether I was writing a poem. I asked him if he knew when she would go home. Now let's go on. Look, okay. In case of question words like who, how, where, etc., some same word is used to introduce the reported speech. Where do you live? She asked me. She asked me where I lived. You cannot have the do there in a reported speech sentence. Okay. He asked, how do you write poems? He asked me how I wrote poems. You should not have the do there. He asked me how I wrote poems. Okay. Now statements, imperative sentences, the command sentences. We are going to see how this can change. Now look at this. Okay, you have to use what are the reporting words? Asked, advised, requested, or pleased. The tense remains the same. Now look at this. I said, take your seat. I asked him to take his seat. He said, give me some food, please. He requested to give him some food. Now, exclamatory sentence. Now let's look at how this is going to change. He said, how beautiful a place. He exclaimed with joy that it was a very beautiful place. So, exclaimed with joy, because that's why I repeatedly say, feel the meaning of the sentence. That will help you change into reported speech perfectly. You won't make a mistake. Rohan said, alas, his father died. Rohan exclaimed in sorrow, because exclaimed in sorrow that his father was dead. Yeah, you can use apologized also. Now let's check what you've learned. Change the following into reported speech. Yeah, here are the exercises. From now, we will finish all the exercises that are there on my slides. You have 3 sentences and I'll give you 3 minutes. Quick. The moment you look at the question sentence, I want you to count the number of things you need to change to make it into reported speech. And then after changing, cross-check whether you've done it right. Quick. I give you 3 minutes. If and whether for a question sentence. I wish you all write in your notebooks so that when I show you the answers, you're able to correct them in your notebook so that you will understand where you make mistakes and you will be able to rectify it. So don't post in the chat box. Just post done if you've finished all 3. Write in your notebooks. As I said in the beginning of my session, use an exclusive notebook for English. This will help you not only for your foundation English, but all through your exam, the inter and the final, and even afterwards. Yeah, you have 2 more minutes. Finish it fast. Yeah, done. Only one has said done. Preeti. Just wait for the others to post. I told you, please don't post in the chat box. Write it in your notebook so that you will be able to understand or you will be able to learn where you make mistakes. Write it in your notebooks. Okay? Oh. Okay, the answer I think I have to say. The air hostess said the hijackers tried to frighten the passengers. The air hostess said that the hijackers tried to frighten the passengers. Just that. Okay. The captain said to his men, stand at ease. The captain ordered his men to be at ease. The captain ordered his men or commanded his men to be at ease. She said to the wizard, do you believe in ghosts? She asked the wizard if you can even use it here because wizard, we don't know what gender. She asked the wizard if it believed in ghosts. Okay, now let me move on. This is something that we did. Now look here, look at the sample of reporting verbs. I think this will help you use reporting verbs, as a variety. Okay, these are reporting verbs. Now, let me move on. You want to copy it? I'll give you a minute. Yeah. Post done if you're finished. Three out of three, very good, Preeti. Yeah. Now, let me move on. I think I have the answers for these. Okay. Choose the right answer. This is multiple choice. Remember, I have always said in your exam, you don't have multiple choice questions. You only have brief answers or change this to the other one. Okay, I get up every morning at 7 o'clock. Choose the right answer. This is to help you understand better. You can post your answers in the chat box for this because it will only be an A or a B or a C. Quick. Yeah, super. Many of you have done it right. Who says B? Krishna. Now, how would you decide whether Ritu? See, you're wrong. Krishna is wrong. Muthukumaran is wrong. Rupali is wrong. Now, let me tell you how you must do the elimination. Okay, I get up every morning at 7 o'clock. Let me look at C. Peter said that he had got up. This is not in the past perfect. Therefore, it is not C. Now, let me look at B. Peter said, I got up. I has to change to C, and therefore B is wrong. Now, let me look at the A. Peter said he got up every morning at 7. That's the right answer. You have to do your elimination by cross-checking. This is called critical thinking. Now I move on. The next sentence, quick. I give you just 2 minutes because you're only going to post A, B, or C. Fast. Well, you must know how to think and eliminate why something is right, why something is not right. Okay, quick. This is just to help you understand in a better way. Super. I think now why we didn't use hat right? What's that hat right? Not this one. Okay. This is for Sushmita. I look into that question because I think I have to go back several slides. Now, super. Many of you have written it correctly, but there are still some of you who have written it wrong. For example, Tanisha, Sparshi, Pratima, Sakshi, Patak. You're all wrong. Saumili, Tanisha. Yeah, you're wrong. Now, let me tell you how. See, Tom said, I want to visit my friends this weekend. I told you the moment you read the sentence, count the number of things you need to change. So Tom said, I. This I will become he. Want will become wanted. Visit, my will become his friends. This should become that. Now let me see the first one. Tom said, he wants. It's wrong. Okay, so that's gone. B. Now let me look at C. Tom said he wanted to visit his friends this weekend. This weekend is wrong. So let me go back to B. Tom said he wanted to visit his friends that weekend. So B is the right answer. Those of you who have said C or A, you have to be more alert and careful. Okay, now let us look at this one. Quick, I give you just 1 minute. Fast. Okay. Yeah, that is Krishna. That if the sentence reads well, even without the that, it's right. That's why I say feel the sentence, feel the context, feel the meaning, and you will be right. Okay, now do this quick, and once you finish, post done. Come on fast. Yeah. Don't be in a hurry. I still find many of you answering wrongly. Check and recheck again and again. It's like a reported speech is like math, you know. See, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. You must get the 2. Only then your answer is right. Okay. So same way, if you can change the reported into the direct as in the question sentence, then your answer will be right. Okay. Now let me give you the answer. Let me tell you how to eliminate. He asked me, have you finished reading the newspaper? So he asked me, have must become had, finished reading the newspaper. So that's one thing that I need to change. Now let me look. He asked me if had I. If had I is a wrong usage. Okay, so A is gone. Now let me look at C. He asked me if I finished reading the newspaper, there the have is omitted. You don't have had, therefore C is gone. C is not the right answer. Now let's look at B. He asked me if I had finished reading the newspaper. If is there, I had. Both are there. Therefore, B is the right answer. Those of you who have marked the other wrong answers, please check. This is just to let you know or think critically before you choose your answer. Now let's look at this. They said, okay, I'm not going to read because if I read, you may get the answer even with my. You got all three correct, super Meena. Now do this quick. you have to do the elimination game. You have to eliminate what is not right. For which you should know what's not right. Yeah. If or whether, depending on the context. Yeah, done. Okay. They said we've lived here for a long time. Let's see the things that we need to change. We have must change. We must become they. Okay. Lived here must change. So let's see the first one. They said they have lived. Have is in the present tense, therefore A is wrong. Now let's look at the next one. They said they lived here. Here should become there, therefore that is also wrong. Now let's look at C. They said that they had lived there for a long time. So that's the right answer. C is the right answer. Let's look at the next one. Jerry said, I am okay, I'm not going to. I'm not. The moment you get the question sentence, the moment you look at the question sentence, please count the number of changes you need to make. Manish, I don't understand your question. If you talk on a video call, it will be visual because you're seeing verbal and visual because you use words and you can also see. Okay, this question is a good question. Demilo, lived, when will you have had lived? If you have in the question sentence, then your answer sentence must have had. All options are wrong, Rishika, that can never be. Okay, let me see if you've finished it. Okay, let me see. You have to read the sentences very carefully, and this is for Hardik, not for you to say both are the same. There are changes which I can see at one glance. Please read it carefully. Okay, Jerry said, I'm studying English a lot at the moment. So how many things should I change? Jerry said he has to change. Okay. So am will become was. Am is present tense. Am will become was. Studying English a lot. And at the moment will become that moment. So let me see. Jerry said he was studying English a lot at that moment. This seems to be right. Anyway, let's look at the other two. Jerry said he was studying English a lot at the moment is not right. Jerry said I was studying. So therefore, B and C are wrong. Only A is right. Only A is right. Many of you have still marked B. Oh my God, that means you haven't understood. Krishna, that should be there. Okay. Now I think, yeah. Okay. So some more question exercises. Come on fast. I give you 5 minutes because there are 5 sentences. Write this in your notebooks. When I call out answers, check your answers. And if it is wrong, Jerry is he. If it is wrong, rewrite the answer in your notebook so that you remember if you get these type of question sentences, this is the way you must change. So now your time starts now. I give you 5 minutes. I want you to write in your notebooks and I will say the answers. Quick. Uh, this is Manish. I've already answered this question, Manish. And it's not a very relevant question also. You have 2 more minutes. That is not compulsory in all the sentences. Only if the sentence demands that, then you use it. This is for Ruhani. If you don't, no, this is for Saurav. If you don't see an exclamatory mark, you cannot use exclaimed. Okay? Done. Okay, now I'm calling out answers. I'll wait for a minute more for all of you to finish. And then I will call out answers. You can correct it in your notebooks. You have a minute more. Done? Okay. He says that, you can add that here. He says that Switzerland is the heaven on earth. It is a universal truth. It's a constant sentence, so it doesn't have past tense. The shopkeeper says prices are shooting up alarmingly. The shopkeeper said that the prices are shooting up alarmingly because it always shoots up. She said nobody can solve the problem. She said that nobody can. You can even use could. Break, I told you I leave you a 10 minutes early. Okay. Anthony said Martin has gone home. Anthony said that Martin had gone home. Has will become had. She said, I shall be taking a test. She said that she would be taking a test or should be taking a test. Both are right there. Okay, now I give you another 5 minutes. Finish this quickly. I told you, Mohammed, write in your notebook. This is for Adib. I'll leave you 10 minutes early. Let's not break now. Very good. The first one, you mean the earlier one, says you don't have to change that says. That's for Bhumikesh. No, Bhumkesh. Second sentence, yes, can use. Not in this one. Now let's not talk about the earlier one. Informed, yes. Shopkeeper informed, yes. Now we do this one and I'm giving you 5 minutes. Quick. Shopkeeper informed? No. Said. Only said. He's not informing. That's for Saurav. That's for Pragya also. This one, Apurva, yes, there you can use remark. Feel the sentence, then you won't make a mistake. Gunjan, write in your notebook. Done? Okay. Now I call out the answers. I call them out very slowly. I'll give you time for you to ask me, get your doubts clear, and then we'll move. Okay. The man said, "Is your father at home?" The man asked me if my father was at home. If my father was at home. Please correct your answers in your notebooks because these are tricky sentences. The clerk asked his manager, "Shall I email this letter again, sir?" The clerk asked his manager if he should email that letter again. If he should email that letter again. Okay. She said, "Will you tell me what it means, David?" She asked David if he would tell her what it meant. This is for Saurav. Please check this. She asked David if he would tell her what it meant. Tell her because she said, okay. The next one, she said to me, "How have you done this sum?" She asked me how I had done that sum. How I had done that sum. Okay. The fifth one, the policeman said to the stranger, if sounds good here, therefore it is if. This is for Saloni. The policeman said to the stranger, "Who are you? Where do you come from?" The policeman asked the stranger who he was and where he came from. Okay? Where he came from. I repeat the fifth sentence. The policeman, because that's a tricky one. The policeman said to the stranger, "Who are you? Where do you come from?" The policeman asked the stranger who he was and where he came from. Okay? Quick. 2 out of 5. Oh, you can use should in this sentence. That's it. If or whether it you feel the sentence and then you decide whether it's if or whether. Now we move on to the next slide. These are exclamatory sentences. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Quick. Yeah, you can use the policeman inquire. Madhivadana, who was he? When you have a verb after the WH word, it is a question sentence. It is not in the reported way. Who he was. Yeah. Okay, I give you 5 minutes. Enquired is also right. All correct. That's funny. Yeah, very good. 5 out of 4, Shravani. See if you written it right. Who he was and where he came from, not comes from. Yes, you can use would. That's for Sushmita. Yamini, I've answered you. Third again, I have to go back. She asked by address. Why do you want to use asked by addressing? She asked David is very simple. Repeat answer to. Okay, let me go back to the previous one. The clerk asked his manager if he should email that letter again. Then somebody asked for the third one. She said she asked David if he would tell her what it meant. Okay. There is no, see, in direct and indirect speech, you don't have several ways of answering. There is only one right answer. Meena, you cannot use not to. Okay, now we move on to the next one quick. These are exclamatory sentences. So these are specific to the types of sentences. Therefore, it gives you a good revision as to how you can change if you have these kind of sentences. Done? Okay, I'm going to give you the, no, I'll wait for one moment. Yeah. You're confused in sentence. Difficult to frame the answer, Meena, Saurabh. I'm giving you the answers. Then you will know, oh my God, this is this easy. Okay. The old man said, thief, thief, catch him. The old man exclaimed, thief, and shouted to catch him. Shouted to catch him. Who, the second one, who, what a dirty child, said the nurse. The nurse exclaimed in disgust that the child was dirty. Exclaimed in disgust. Now, this is a real tricky sentence. The accused said to the judge, let me meet my family before I die, sir. So you have to count the number of words you need to change. Accused said to the judge, let me meet. To let him meet. Okay, my family will become his family. Before I die, before he died. Okay, so the accused requested the judge to let him meet his family before he died. I repeat, the accused requested the judge to let him meet his family before he died. Okay. The onlookers said, bravo, good hit, gents. The onlookers exclaimed or cheered gents that it was a good hit. Exclaimed or cheered gents that it was a good hit. Screamed, yeah, screamed is also right. Urged the judge to let it, yeah, urged, pleaded, requested. Yes, they are right. That's for Saurabh. Bhumika, yeah, I answered. Quick. Now, I'm going to give you 3 minutes time to get your doubts cleared. Ask me doubts. I don't want you to jump into other topics, subtopics. Just ask me, Krishna Singh, if all of them are difficult, take these sentences down, write down the right answer, and just keep reading it again and again. Then your mind will let you know whenever you're wrong. Urge the judge to meet, no, out of the sentence, whole sentence is wrong. 1 and 2, wolf said to the lamb, oh, okay. I did not say the first one, right? Okay. The wolf said to the lamb, don't make the water muddy. The wolf shouted at the lamb or ordered the lamb not to make the water muddy. Not to make the water muddy. Remove the punctuation mark. I'm not saying that because I thought you know it. Before he died. That's for Apurva. Question 1, yeah, I've said it now. The wolf ordered the lamb or shouted at the lamb not to make the water muddy. MCQ is just for your understanding. You will only have changed this to reported speech. Fifth one, the onlookers cheered James. The onlooker cheered James and said, "Good hit," or exclaimed, or praised, whatever. Onlookers expressed, yes, you're right. Is it, the old man shouted that there was, oh, no. Sushmita, that cannot be right. You don't have to write so much. Shouted that there was a thief. No. Who's this? Amit. Yeah, I've been looking at everybody's question. Ujjal, how many times should I say that you will not get MCQs? Told and said you can interchange depending on the context of the question. The wolf will never request Saurav. Sorry. The wolf ordered or commanded, shouted, because the wolf is a mightier animal than the lamb. Fourth one, accused said to the judge. Said can be requested, pleaded, okay, to let him meet his family before he died. He died is the right answer. This is for Shramni. Fourth, how many times will I repeat? Thief answer, Dimelo. The old man shouted thief and asked him to be caught or wanted him to be caught. Third one, the nurse exclaimed in disgust or in frustration or in sadness, whatever, that it was a dirty child. Okay, so now I told you I'll leave you 10 minutes before. Now it's time for feedback. Very quickly, you will post in the chat box, what did you learn well today? And what did you like? Okay? Quick, I'm waiting for you. Nobody will sign off before posting in your chat box. What did you learn well today? And what did you like? How did you like it? What made you like it? That's what is important. Before he died, Dirisha, that's the right answer. Pataka, I've already said it 1,000 times, okay? Please post in the chat box, what did you learn well and how did you like it? Quick, I'm waiting for you. And I'll close at, you post your comments and you can, yeah, I said 5 minutes before, right? Yeah, quick. Remarked is also right. Shouted is right. Pointing at the thief. Pointing at the thief to catch him is not right. This is Saurav. The old man shouted thief and he wanted him to be caught, or yeah, the old man shouted thief and wanted him to be caught, or shouted thief and asked no, asked only if you have the other person. So you just say wanted him to be caught. Yeah, so you will post in the chat box, what did you learn well and how did you like it? Quick. $15 minutes is still there. I said I'll leave you 10 minutes early. 5 minutes I'm taking for the feedback. Quick. Bhumikesh, the session was not average. Your understanding is average because I have repeated every line, every instruction again and again and again. exclamatory sentence, that is shouting in, in joy or in sadness. Answers will have to be past tense unless it is a universal statement, like the sun rises. You have also got to remember that this is something that you've been doing for 6 or 7 years at school. Okay? And you should be able to understand it in one say, but you have so many doubts and, you made wrong answers. I'm really surprised. Saurav, you didn't understand active and passive pronoun. Go do the exercises in the study material, you will understand. And so next class, I will start off with the question paper. I'll show you a past question paper so that you understand what kind of questions you will get for active, passive, reported speech and simple complex compound. So that will help you, get a clear idea as to how you will be questioned. Quick, and I'm waiting for you. Subject is boring. Who's that? Manish, you must have thought, oh, it's grammar and therefore it's boring. You have to will to understand, otherwise you won't be able to understand. WH sentences are sentences which go with a question word. WH words are what, when, where, why, who, which, whose. Those are called WH words. Quick. I'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we call it off because I said I'll give you 10 minutes and it's already 43. Quick. Who's this? Saurav has always a question. You have to be taught face to face, not in a group like this, Saurav. Okay? See, I assume that all of you have cleared your 12th standard and now you're getting into a professional course. Okay? So, with the fundamentals, you should be able to understand. If you say you don't understand anything, it shows your fundamentals are wrong. I have given the rules. I have explained them in detail. I have given you exercises to understand. You can't change universal tense because if I say the teacher said the sun rises in the east, you cannot say the teacher said that the sun rose in the east. Because sun rising in the east is a natural phenomenon and it happens every day. Therefore, we don't change universal tenses. Who's this one? Manish, you don't have to worry that your grammar. Listen to a lot of good English models, and you will see that you're able to speak really well, speak and write. Quick. The fundamentals again. Oh my God, you want me to start from A, B, C, D? Yash? Yash or yeah, Yash Karuna. We start at a level that we assume that you know the ABCDs. We also assume that you know the general rules. We can only mention them. If I have to start teaching you from A, then these 2 sessions won't do. You would need 13 sessions for just one chapter. You suppose you feel, oh my God, I don't know this fundamental. Go back to your textbook, your school textbooks, and find out for yourself. And be there at a level where everybody is. Say, when out of 50 people say that they've understood that it's clear, it means that you are lagging behind and you have to pick it up. I have been very slow, very courteous, try to answer all your doubts and your questions, checked on you if you have been wrong, okay? And my slides show you the best of the samples. It has the variety of samples. It has different sentences so that all of you understand how to change. Quick. We have 4 more minutes to go. Post your ABC. Not okay. I meant from what's that? I meant from a bit higher than ABCD. Yes. Okay. So tell me what level. Start from your second standard or third standard or sixth standard. Tell me which level. From which level we would start. Because there's active, passive, different types of sentences, reported speech, all of them have been taught at school. Siddhika, I do read everybody's comment and post. I'm reading everybody's. I read everybody's. Maybe I wouldn't have seen your name or called out your name. See, there is no Hindi medium or English medium. Let me tell you, all of you would have had English as a subject. Okay? Yes, thank you for that. Chaitanya, it's from the textbook. And the textbook has a little extra things for you to read and understand. And I do just that, whatever you would get in your exam. Those fundamentals, the extra stuff that's in there in your study material are things that you should already be knowing because these are done at the school level. This is just to recall and refresh your understanding, and we start from there. That's the answer is for Chaitanya. Because this is what you will be tested in. If I'm going to give you threadbare detail of, the object, direct object, conditionals and all that stuff, then 2 sessions are not enough. We would need 20 sessions because those are things that are very, very basic. Quick, I'm waiting for you. You just have 2 more minutes to go. Quick, and I do expect all of you to post. Yeah, I answered Manish. Listen a lot to good models of English, then you will be able to understand and your English will naturally improve. Quick. This is for Saurav. Yes, Saurav, I understand. So, recalling, reinforcing happens when I say verb, when I say to be verbs are, is, are, where, was, okay? So, if I have to give you exercises there, then my sessions will have to be longer. We expect all of you to be thorough up to class 12 English. But we do go back on the fundamentals to brush up your fundamentals. To see that all of you remember what are to be verbs, how do you change this or that. There's changing adverbs in the reported speech. All of you know it. This day becomes this day, that day, next week, the week before, the week after. All these have been done 1,000 times, I'm sure, at school level. We are saying it again so that you recall all of them. Who's this? Yash. There's no. I'm very sorry, Yash. It's not that way. Wherever I feel that you have to remember the rule, note the change, notice how it has to be changed, there I go slow. But the rest of it is just for the sake of saying, for those of you who want the fundamentals, there I just say it. I don't measure the speed. You have to, because you're entering into a professional course, yes. We cannot start baby steps here. Very good, Bhumika. I'm happy about that. Saurav, you will have problem with tenses. That's the reason why I'm telling you, listen a lot, read a lot. You will get it naturally. You don't have to worry about tense or vocabulary or first tense or past tense or the pronouns. You don't have to worry about anything. Listen a lot. Try to understand whatever you listen to. You will be able to get a hang of the grammar. It will come naturally. It's called universal grammar. Yes, okay, that's okay. Yes. Yeah, and bye for now. Yes, I told you I'll leave you 10 minutes early and see you in the next class. Bye-bye. Vinu? Vinu? Yeah, our class is done because I told them I'm leaving them 10 minutes early. Right. Okay, bye.